So, Andrew, in our last episode, we've been talking about how pharma companies has burned email as a channels, right?
Yeah, that's right. We talked about how pharma is sending way too many emails, and in many ways, they're just broadcasting what they want to say. So, I mean, emails being used almost like a megaphone. They're telling doctors what they want to say rather than listening to what doctors want.
So, but last time you said that you spoke with doctors about emails. Did you also talk about messaging apps?
Yeah, that's right. We've been interviewing doctors across APAC from many different countries, places like India, including oncologists, and we asked them about how they've interacted with pharma companies through messaging apps. We noticed there's some differences in the ways that they interact, as well as the types of messaging apps that they use. So, for example, if you're thinking about a country like Thailand or Taiwan, they're using Line. Singapore, Malaysia, it's all about WhatsApp, obviously WeChat in China, Zalo in Vietnam. So all of them are using slightly different messaging apps.
So, different countries actually use different apps, but how do pharma companies engage with doctors exactly on messaging?
There's really two different ways that pharma companies interact with doctors on these platforms. Either it's an individual rep sending messages to a doctor, or in some cases, like Zalo, they have an official account or line that they might broadcast some information. But for those individual interactions, med reps are sending doctors invitations to join conferences, webinars, seminars, maybe updates on product information, best practice, new guidelines. Or a third point would be in some countries, they're actually using it to manage stock. So in countries like Malaysia, they're actually allowed to dispense medication. So some GPs might be messaging med reps to order more product, or med reps might be sending information about, special rates or promotions on different products they have available.
But do doctors actually like to be engaged through messaging apps? I thought it's a very personal space.
I thought the same when we first started out speaking to doctors. I thought, I'm not sure I would want to engage on these apps personally. But what we found is that actually that personal connection is one of the greatest strengths of messaging apps. It's that very conversation that makes it easy to use and makes doctors really appreciate it. If you think about some of the messaging apps, it's all about conversation, really. You can see when someone's typing, you can see when someone's read your message. Those are things that you don't quite get with email. Another one of the big differences with messaging apps and email, building on that personal touch, it's also the ease of sending a message. With email, it can be quite formal, it's quite structured. There's a template almost, right? You need a greeting, dear Anne, then the content of your message, and then a closing, right? Kind regards, Andrew. It's almost like something you need to put up on an email on a laptop, really, type and send. Whereas a message, you could just send a few words, you could like the message, you could send an emoji. So, a doctor in the Philippines said, "Oh, I want to show that I've read the message. I don't have much time to reply. I just put a thumbs up." So it's quite easy.
Something crossed my mind. So, is messaging somewhere in between a face to face interactions and an email, do you think?
I guess you could say that. It's very difficult to ignore someone if they're standing right in front of you, which is part of the reason why that face-to-face sales call has worked so well in countries like Vietnam. If you think about a message, it's a little bit harder to ignore if you know that someone has seen that you've read their message. Whereas an email, it's quite easy to delete, quite easy to ignore. There's none of that social lubrication at play.
In a way, I think that messaging apps are also very convenient to use.
Yeah, that's right. For the same reason that I outlined before, it's much easier to write a reply. You don't need that full structure. You don't have to log onto a computer to send it. You can just send a few words or an emoji. And everyone has their phone these days. Everyone's checking messages from friends or family.
Last time you said that pharma companies has not got their email right. What do you think they should do differently with messaging apps this time?
Well, first is, yeah, not to repeat the same mistakes. This is not a broadcast channel, but in all seriousness, there's really two things that pharma companies need to do moving forward. First is don't overwhelm doctors. This is not a broadcast channel, as we said. It's a conversation. Don't just simply repeat the same content that you've already shared on an email. You're going to train them to ignore your emails, and it really undermines your whole strategy. The second point is really going back to the dialogue or treat it as a conversation. This is a very informal channel, and it's an opportunity to cultivate or to build relationships with doctors. You can send quite personal messages, remember small details about them, not simply sending mass emails. Remember, this is about a conversation.
That is very insightful. In a way, I think that messaging apps is very important channels moving forward for pharma companies. This has been Delta MV Insight Bites with me, your host, Ann and Andrew.
If you'd like to get in touch to learn more, then visit our website at www.deltamv.com and drop a note under the contacts page.
Thank you.